Okay, so for number one, what two levels of classification do we use to develop the scientific name of an organism? What were those two levels of classification that we use? One?
Genus and species.
Dawn said genus and species. Raise your hand if you think that is true. True. Genus and species. What do we think here, guys? You said what do you think? Is that true? Yes? Okay. That is correct. So we said that when we look at the levels of classification of living things, we're going to review this in just a second, but we said when we get down to the most specific groups, the last two groups, the smallest groups, we use the last two, the genus and the species name, combined as the scientific name. Who remembers something else about the scientific name that we should remember about when we write the scientific name? What is one of the rules that we said we would need to think about when we write a scientific name? You only capitalize the first letter of the first name. Thumbs up if you think that's correct. Thumbs down if you think that is not correct. We capitalize both letters of our first and last name, so what do we think? Thumbs up if you think that's correct, thumbs down if you think it is not correct. Oh, trick some people. That is correct.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, we capitalize the genus name, but we leave the species name uncapitalized. That was just a rule that we had learned. What about another rule that we learned about the scientific name? I'm not sure we mentioned this one very, very much though. Whenever you have seen a scientific name of a living thing, perhaps when we classified the house cat, and we got down to that scientific name, did you notice anything else about how it was written or typed? It's in Latin, yes. Yes? Who remembers why we use Latin? Why we use Latin? You know?
Like the people who classify the animals all know how to speak Latin, so it's like common ground.
Good, it's a common language that taxonomists, those scientists that classify living things, they know, and they're able to use that Latin as a universal language. Okay, good. The other thing to think about with genus and species names is that they are written usually in italics. Italics. That means slanted. You know, when you see the type on a page and it's slanted, that's italics. Okay? In fact, I believe our questions here are a little slanted. They're in italics. Okay? Okay. Next question. What is the name of the tool that we use? And this also came from your notes. What is the name of the tool that we use to identify organisms based on paired traits? Paired traits. And we haven't worked with these yet. This is new information for us today. This is a new experience. However, we did mention this tool. Okay, so what did we say for that? Okay, good. Let's break it down. So DI says what? I'll show you. Let's break this down. DI says what? Die. Okay. CHOT. How might we say CHOT? Caught. Coat. Caught. Right? O. And then mus. M-O-U-S. So dichotomous key. Okay, good. Dichotomous key. And that is what we're going to be working more with today. In fact, our learning goal today says that you should be able to use and know the purpose of a dichotomous key to identify organisms. To identify organisms. So we're going to learn how to do that today. How can we use a dichotomous key to identify the name of organisms? So, the first part of our day, first let's review just for a moment. We said that we have all of these large, we have 3 large domains that all living things fall into. We said that we are in the domain eukarya. Why are we in eukarya? Why are we in eukarya? Why are these living things here in the domain eukarya? Eukarya. What about that word eukarya? What does that sound a lot like? Eukaryote. Tyler, is that what you were going to say?
Yeah,
Because they have a nucleus. Yes, we have cells that have a nucleus. So all these creatures fall into that domain. Okay? And then we said last week that as we began to break down that large group into smaller and smaller groups, these were the groups that they would fall into. Okay? Does anybody remember that mnemonic device that we used to remember those in order? Started with the D. Deer.
King Philip.
Hold on, let's say it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Dear King Philip came over for good soup. Right? Dear King Philip came over for good soup. So that was our mnemonic device that we used to learn those in order. Okay? All right. Also notice the genus and the species name.